What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Happy Friday, people. Hope you're all well. Looking forward to the game this weekend, although it doesn't mean very much. And where my dogs at? Oh, 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 oh. DMX settings, people. The dogs are in the building, people. We said we needed energy in midfield, and we have got it now. That is for sure. As you can imagine, I threw a couple jokes up on Twitter, but you know, they fell down like a lead balloon, man. They just don't quite have that sort of sense of humor on Twitter, do they? Nuno Tavares will be delighted, by the way. But anyway, yeah, we'll talk about that. Big up to everyone tuning in. Make sure you like the video as well. Who let the dogs out? Ooh. Yo, it's all going off at Arsenal, but the PR machine is in full effect, people. War chests, dogs, it's all going off at Arsenal, people. But listen, big up to everyone locked in. Like the video, subscribe, all of that good stuff. We'll have press conference reaction. And we'll look ahead to the game against Forest. I got to admit, it feels like the season is over, but we will, you know, we'll still do a watch along and hope that we win the game. Big up Goss, who said, Big C, today's my birthday. Can you give me a shout out? Happy birthday, brother. Hope you have a blessed day. Arsenal dogs, man, I'm telling you. War chest is on the way. Don't worry, man. Big up Anthony, man. Listen, it's only Arsenal, innit? It's only Arsenal who could do it. Big up Shirtaz for becoming a member. Really appreciate it. Big up everyone who locked into the members stream yesterday. I think we was on for 2 hours. I think that was our longest ever live stream for a member stream. So big up everyone who locked in. And Arteta Coleman said, will you make Saliba our top earner to keep him? I think he'll be one of the top earners. I think his contract will be upwards of 150 grand. Listen, if you got to pay him 200k, you pay him it, because you're going to have to spend 60, 70, 80 million to replace him. So I'd give it him. Big C, LeBron getting destroyed. Listen, the Lakers, what is going on? Denver Nuggets, who are owned, of course, by our owner, Stan Kroenke. And, boy, man, LeBron, I don't know what's going on right now, but it ain't looking good for you, bro. It looks as if the Nuggets could be heading to the final, possibly against the Miami Heat. So, yeah, man, LeBron's struggling. It's interesting, isn't it, man? A lot of Stan Kroenke's teams are thriving. LA Rams win the Super Bowl. You know, a lot of stuff's going on. The Nuggets are flying. We just need Arsenal to get over that finish line, and then we move people. For anyone who's wondering, why the hell has he started off this stream with a Photoshop dog between Edu and Arteta, and you think, is he losing his mind now that Man City are about to win the league? Let me just explain the story for those of you who haven't seen it. I'm sure most of you have seen it, but for those of you who haven't, obviously I want to inform you. And Mikel Arteta, this actually made the news, by the way. Gary Jacob in the Times actually wrote an article about this. I don't know if it's a slow news day or what, but Mikel Arteta has made his latest signing to enhance the feel-good vibe at Arsenal. He signed a chocolate Labrador who is affectionately called Win. His name is Win. He spends most days at the club's training ground at London Colney. A dog called Win. Ugh. I mean, listen. Let me try and remain balanced. People say I'm too harsh. You're way too harsh, Curtis. You don't support anything the club do. I mean, listen, I don't know. I must be getting old. I can't lie. Like, I don't know. Maybe, you know, as you get older, I think you get a lot more harsh. And you sit there and people are messaging me saying, listen, a dog in the workplace is beautiful. It's a calming influence. It brings people together. Blah, blah, blah. Maybe I'm just very harsh in my old age, you know, but I just want to see Arsenal win trophies. People said we got a dog to practice holding on to a lead, but obviously we didn't hold on to that lead very well. Sorry, it's a dad joke. Again, I'm getting older. Just work with me. You know, sense of humour goes a long way in life, people. Twitter just don't understand that. But, I mean, for me, man, the light bulb was the first thing. Then it was the T-shirt with the funny pictures on it that they actually released as merch. Then, you know, he's playing You'll Never Walk Alone with the speakers. I mean, now there's a dog at the training ground called Win. when we didn't actually win. I mean, listen, it's a bit of light-hearted, conversation. I get it, but all I do is win, 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 no matter what. But if it's called win, you got to win. If my dog's called win, I better win something. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh no. I don't know. I think the less we say about that, the better. But anyway, there's a dog called Win there. And let's hope he helps us win next year. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know, people. I grew up on times where, Vieira was getting sent off, having a fight with Roy Keane, and Keown was giving a forearm over the back of Van Nistelrooy's head, and maybe, listen, as I said, people, maybe I'm just getting older and I need to soften up. Maybe I'm too harsh. But there's a dog at the training ground. So, yeah, I don't know what you take from that. Nuno, apparently, he's swimming back to the ground as we speak. He just wants to be around the dog for obvious reasons. But, yeah, don't worry, I'm sure. Yeah, John, you know this. What is going to happen? Saka's contract, walking the dog. You can see it. If it was a puppy, they'll put it on his chest. Oh, Saka, he's so nice and cute and young. That'll be the thing. You know how they... I don't know. I don't know what's going off anymore, but I don't know. But hey, maybe, as I said, people, maybe I'm too harsh in my old age, but there's a dog at the training ground. I'd much rather have a trophy at the training ground than a dog. George, did you see the League One playoffs Wednesday v Posh? Unreal. What a win for Sheffield Wednesday, man. Unbelievable. Latte said, soft. The brother them soft. Imagine what Pep's thinking this morning. What are you thinking this morning if you're Haaland? You're on the way to the treble, the team that have pushed you this season. Have you heard about Arsenal? Oh, no, don't tell me. What have they done? They've got Caicedo, haven't they? They've signed him. No, not Caicedo. Declan Rice agreed a price for him. No, not who they signed? Diaby from Leverkusen. Speed Demon. We're going to have problems against Arsenal. No, none of that. What have they done? They got a Labrador called Win. They're walking him around the training ground. Okay. Champions League final in 2 weeks. They got listen, let me not say no more. If I speak, I'm suspended at least 6 months, people. At least 6. Should have called it bottle, says. Don't. Let me not say too much. The fan base are already a little bit edgy with me at the moment. They should have got a tiger instead. Do you know what I mean? If they turn up with a pit bull. If he turns up with 2 American pit bulls looking like a Rough Riders video. I say, all right, man. Yo, man's moving like a beast. Yeah, they're ready to bite anything that comes near them, But man turned up. I like Labradors. They're nice dogs. But you know what I mean, man? Come on, man. You're making us look... Hey, let me move on. Let me move on. Juice said, hopefully this means we can hold on to a lead. Yeah, apparently we let go of the dog. He's running around Coney as we speak. Nick says, I was upset at myself because I wasn't subscribed. I am now. Anybody know where I can find the 2021 away marble kit? I'm in the US. Oh, where would you get that now? I'm not sure, but I haven't seen it in the Arsenal store for a while. It's probably an eBay job, Nick. But big up, bro, for subscribing. Top Gooners acting like we bought Earbud, bro. I don't know what that... Listen, Top Gooners love it. They're saying it's a masterstroke. Ted Lasso in real life, people. They're loving it, people. Bleck said, Arteta just losing it, dogs. Her timer's out. He might need a 3-minute timeout for that. At least we didn't get a poodle, says Brutal. Yeah, maybe. Listen, maybe he'll come in to replace Rob Holding. Give us that energy we need. He'll definitely have pace in there. So, yeah, we move. Anyway, let me not speak too much. You speak only, but facts, Big C, our fan base is not proper. Simon said, speak Fitz. If you're in this chat, step forward and speak, people. I need explanations. No, it's little Winnie waiting for that Zinni and Winnie internet breaking pictures. That DMX pick, Boomer. Mike Tyson with his tiger at London Calder. Yeah, man. Where is Fitz Joseph? Reveal yourself, Fitz. Where are you? Anyway, let's move on. Less of the dog talk. A light-hearted joke for the start of the show, but... I thought it was funny. It's just typical Arsenal, isn't it? It's beautiful. First thing we saw on socials this morning is there's a dog at the training ground. But anyway, let's move on, people. Opinions on 290k a year for Saka, 290k a week for Saka, bro, not a year. He'd have left by now if it was 290. Listen, it is what it is. We got to pay him top dollar. One thing I'll say about Saka is the problem that we've got with Saka, why we've got to pay him so much money. Number one, he's been player of the year 2 years in a row. So he can say, I've pretty much carried this team on my back as a youngster. He starts for England, all of that stuff. English tax. If he Ross, you're in here, English tax, right? The problem you've got, he was being linked to Manchester City. City, as if they haven't taken enough offers this season. You got to look at Mahrez is nearly 32. They don't have a real right winger. They play Bernardo out there a lot of the time. Saka's 21. Now, Saka's got a year left on his deal. Now, what you got to think is, if Saka turned round to Arsenal now and said, I'm not signing a new contract with a year left, then City could come in and swoop him, get him cheaper, and we've got a big problem on our hands. And then you've got to spend 60, 70 million to bring in a replacement. So they're going to overpay Saka. That's the reality of the situation, because clubs would take Saka all day long. There isn't many great right wingers in world football. There's a lot more left wingers of high quality than right. So that's the problem. That's the problem. I think Foden's new deal was over 200 grand. Reece James was over 200 grand. I think Sancho's on 300 grand at Man United, and Rashford's new deal will be over 300. So it's the going rate for these young English players, unfortunately. It's the way it goes. Didn't know Kevin Campbell's son is a City fan. Free Cruz. Listen, I gave Cruz the pass, you know. I said to Cruz, if you want to, I'll understand. You want the best for your kids. I don't want you to suffer. If you want to go down that, I'll get you the Man City shirt. Put Haaland on the back. Do whatever's necessary. He don't want it. He don't want to do it. So I said, well, you know, you're going to be raised. It's going to be difficult. You're going to have to go through some pain. But yeah, Kevin Campbell's son, a Man City fan. I think obviously Kev moved up there, so he probably adopted the Man City thing and all of that. My pit bulls can do better, said Black. Yeah, why not? They'll give us some bite in midfield, that's for sure. Cruz a real one. I listen. I told him it's gonna be difficult, but he'll get there. The comments on your tweet this morning, I don't know what's wrong with Twitter. You know what? You can throw that joke on Insta or somewhere else, and they'll take it. They've signed a dog. It's funny. We'll have a laugh. It's Friday. The sun's out. But Twitter's just a different kettle of fish. They can't handle it. But, you know, I'll keep dropping them grenades. I can't help it, people. Anyway, let me get into today's show, people. And let's talk transfers, and then it'll be press conference reaction. We'll look ahead to the Forest game. I mean, I don't know how anybody else feels about that Forest game. It almost feels like a pre-season friendly. I'll be honest, I've checked out. I've checked out for this season now. I'm more interested in transfers than I am in the games. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I'm not overly hyped for this game against Forest. I know Arteta was saying this morning in the press conference that we can still win the title, and we can, but it's not going to happen. Manchester City need 3 points from 3 games. So in reality, we need 2 draws and a defeat. They've got Chelsea at home, Brighton away, Brentford away. They'll win the title on Sunday, right? They will beat Chelsea. It will be over by Sunday. They'll batter Chelsea, in fact. I would imagine they'll hammer them. So, but he's got to say that, because obviously if City were to lose, we're still in it. But yeah, it's one of them. I think Forest will actually give us a very difficult game. I'm going to be totally honest. I think we're going to struggle to win on Saturday, because you're playing against a team that is fighting for their lives to stay up. And we looked against Brighton, to me, like we'd checked out. We look like a team that's taken a real hit over the last month. And, you know, they don't quite know how to deal with it. So I would like to see a few changes this week. I think you might as well give some people a game and give some people a rest. John said, I haven't been to the City ground since 2004. Yeah, I think it's been nearly 20 years since they were in the Prem. Same here, it's transfers now. Kroenke, please spend 400 million. Sean says, you man are coming 4th next season. It's going to be tough. I saw a stat that Liverpool since the new year have been the second best team in the league in terms of points. So I think Liverpool will be back next year, and United, if they spend wisely, could be in there as well. Chelsea, obviously, if Poch does well. Respect to Mourinho, another final. Heritage, man. You got to respect Jose. He stunk out the place. They didn't have one shot on target. They were time wasting, and they drew 0-0, but he got them to the final, man. Curtis, no pressure FC, so we will win. You're probably right. You're probably right. We will probably win now. It doesn't matter. But a couple of transfer stories. First one of the day. Lautaro Martinez. I hope I haven't butchered his name, by the way. I always get this guy's name slightly wrong. I'll get it better than Robbie's, though. He totally capitulates his first name. Being linked with a move away today. Had a very good season. 20 league goals this season for Inter Milan, who are in the Champions League final. Seems an interesting one. They've got 3 strikers, really. Lukaku's on loan, who will cost a fortune. They've got Edin Dzeko's about 35. And they've got, Martinez, who is their younger striker. I think he's 25, 26. I've got to be honest. He's a player that a year ago I was like, okay, could be a bit of a Tevez, get him. Watched him in the World Cup, I was like, I don't want him anywhere near Arsenal. I don't think he's that good. I think he suits the Italian league, slightly slower. Apparently they want £75 million for him. Now, I'm watching him and I'm like, they want 75 million for you. I'm watching you in the World Cup and you're not doing anything. And then Alvarez comes on from City. I mean, everything City touch turns to gold at the moment. But Alvarez costs like 15, 16 million pounds. And Alvarez looks better than him. So I'm not sure about this one. I'm not sure. And he's not that big. I think we need a different profile of striker. I think we need one that's maybe 6 foot plus, a little stronger. Let's get the first poll up of the day, people. Are you happy with Arsenal signing the dog? I'm joking, by the way. I'm joking. Lautaro Martinez, 75 million. Would you take him? Has scored 20 goals this season for Inter. He's having a good season in the league. They're in the Champions League final. 2 problems with him straight away. Straight away, I'll tell you 2 problems. Tends to play in a front 2. Usually with Lukaku, but a lot of the time it's been him and Dzeko, which tells me he needs somebody physical next to him. How would he play in a 1 in the Premier League? Would you? I'm not even going to keep this poll up for long. Would you sign Lautaro Martinez for 75 million? Me personally, no, I wouldn't. But some people might rate him highly. Some people do rate him. He has scored 20 league goals. Well, some people are saying Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney, yeah, I mean, what do you say about Ivan Toney, man? See you in January. Ivan Toney got an 8-month ban. Man, I don't know what to say. I mean, I bet he's really annoyed. I bet he's annoyed. Bet Toney. Sorry. I hope that landed with you. But one thing I'll say. I'm not saying that 2 wrongs don't make a right. 2 wrongs don't make a right. So let me not delve into this too much. Just as an example, a Rangers player was racially abused against Slavia Prague, and the guy got a 4-game ban. So he was suspended for 2 weeks. They had a game Saturday, Tuesday. 2-week ban for racism, right? Now, betting, of course, yeah, he could be trying to influence the score. He could be doing things in the game. You know, I understand. Of course, he's going to get a ban. But I'm just saying, racially abusing a player 4 games, you're out for 2 weeks. He puts bets on, you ban him for 8 months. That tells me everything about UEFA, the FA, all of these things. Luis Suarez got 8 weeks. So, you know, and I'm not saying, listen, 2 wrongs don't make a right. The man's betting, yeah, punish him. You're not allowed to do it. The rules are clear. It's stupid of him. But it's very interesting, isn't it? Money talks, people. Dirty cash. Said it before. And this is what I said about the racial issues, right? And I'm not going to talk about this for too long, but I just felt it was important I brought it up. Until you affect the product, the big companies, the UEFAs, the FIFAs, the FAs, they will not do anything about it. They won't do anything because the ironic thing about Ivan Toney, the sponsor of Brentford is a betting company. So you're promoting betting to everyone else, but then when the player bet, obviously he's not allowed to bet, but I'm just saying it's ironic. You're sponsored by a betting company, so you're promoting it to people. You want to ban people for 8 months, which is why I always say to players and stuff like that, if you want racism to be, you want UEFA and that to wake up, you have to affect the product. Unfortunately, taking the knee before a game means absolutely nothing. It changes nothing. It does nothing. It's them ticking boxes to make it look like they're interested. They're not bothered, right? Walk off the pitch, end the game, make the fans go mad because they've spent money on a ticket and you've walked out of a big Champions League game and all the team walks off. But it is what it is. Wu-Tang made a song a lot of years ago called Cream People. Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar, dollar bill. Yup, money rules the world, unfortunately, people. But hey, it is what it is. But anyway, yeah, Ivan Toney banned for 8 months, out till January. And that could be it for Ivan Toney in terms of a big move. I saw a little loophole that they're trying to explore, though. He's been banned by the FA, which means he's not allowed to play in the Premier League until January. Now, I saw a story yesterday saying that Brentford are potentially going to loan him abroad until January to enable him to play football. But the FA have now said to UEFA that they want him to be banned in the whole of Europe and then FIFA to ban him in the whole of the world. So, you know, it's crazy, that situation. Listen, interesting thing about that, though. Would you still sign Ivan Toney? Because it sounds crazy. But if you went to Brentford now and said, listen, he's banned until January, but I'll take him now at a discounted price. You keep Balogun until January as the backup striker. And then in January, you've got a fresh Ivan Toney coming into your squad. I would personally still do that. Arsenal won't do that because we're all about PR. We like to be, you know, squeaky clean. And we wouldn't do that. You know, we won't go anywhere. Ivan Toney will never play for Arsenal now, let's be honest. But I personally would still sign him. I'd go to Brentford. I'd go, first of all, you've just lost your striker. So you can have Eddie Nketiah, right? Take Eddie as part of the deal. There's your striker. We'll give you some cash on top of that. And we'll take Ivan Toney at a discounted price. Come and train with us. And I'll keep Balogun. So it is what it is. Nimbo said, respect to you, Curtis, because you never accepted a sponsorship from a betting company. Well, one of them was an alcohol company as well. Listen, for me, and I'm not going to sit here and act like some, you know, preacher. I'm not here to preach to no one. We all do things, and it's not like money isn't important, but, you know, yeah, an alcoholic company offered me a very big sponsorship deal at the start of the season, where it entitled, they wanted me to drink beer on the stream and wear T-shirts with their company. I said, no, man, I can't do that. I need to promote good living, clean living, man. I can't promote alcohol on this channel. So, yeah, man, it is what it is, people. But, yeah, in terms of all that stuff anyway, yeah, Ivan Toney banned. I'll go there and get the discounted price, personally. I'll give you 30 million for him and Eddie Nketiah, and I'll take him. Hey, apparently Fitz is in the building. Apparently he's turned up with a semi-automatic shotgun. Fitz, we started the show. You missed it. Oh man, I've just realised what you've said. I got to get that comment off the screen, by the way. You're trying to get my... Oh, dear me. We were talking at the start of the show about Arsenal signing a Labrador at the training ground. I wondered what you thought. You've watched Arsenal for a long time. But yeah, Lautaro Martinez anyway. 75 million for me. Stay away from him. And go and get someone else. Arsenal is a beach resort club, signing dogs and where players come to get coaching badges. It's a nice place. They want to be a nice club. No alcohol, but waffles, please. We'll always provide you with waffle on here, people. We got plenty of that in press conference reaction. It wasn't Red Stripe, to be fair. It wasn't Red Stripe. Dr. Sebi would be proud. Come on, man. That's why they took him out, man. He wanted to promote clean living. Cormac said, is Ivan Toney a non-runner with the ban? You know, listen, you and I know Arsenal ain't signing Ivan Toney. He would destroy the PR. Remember, we're the Champions League winners when it comes to PR. We do win that one, and the amount of kits we release, we definitely win that one. But we're not signing Ivan Toney, man. It won't happen. Sniper said, Tony's full name is Ivan Benjamin Edward Toney. I bet it's written, innit? It's literally written. It's perfect. Need a syrup sponsor. I'll take one. We can promote some syrup. It's quite sugary. Probably not that good for you, but maybe we get a healthier syrup for the waffles. Black said, Emi Martinez tactics are now banned by FIFA. It's crazy, innit? Emi. Neto said, I rate him, but Curtis, you got to let it go. Osimhen should be waited on in the long run, in my opinion. Play it how Madrid would. Hazard, Bellingham. Listen, bro, let me tell you something. Clearly, every Arsenal fan in the world would take Osimhen. It's a no-brainer. I've got two big problems with that, bro. Number one, he's going to cost upwards of 100 million. Number two, is there even a guarantee that he would leave Napoli to come to Arsenal? I don't know, because they've just won Serie A. Would you trust Edu to fly to Naples and negotiate a deal for Osimhen? He'd be in the boot of the car in the hills. He wouldn't make it back. So we've got absolutely no chance of getting Victor Osimhen. So I understand your point, but we ain't getting we're not getting Osimhen. No chance. But I'd love to get him. He'll end up somebody, I don't know, United, Chelsea, somebody who will just pay crazy money for him. Anyway, let me end the Lautaro poll. 80% of you saying no. I think that World Cup really finished him. 20% say yes. I really used the World Cup as an opportunity to watch him. And I just thought, this guy's stinking out the place. He was shocking in that World Cup. And Alvarez just looked a level above him. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Lautaro, to be honest. Kimmich is off to La Liga. I think Real Madrid want him. I'd love to sign Kimmich, by the way. That's the kind of midfielder I would have loved to have got. Osimhen is Nigerian, no Portuguese, no signature. Yeah, it seems to be that. Let's see. We went to Lille and got Pepe instead of Leao or Osimhen. It was the structure of the deal, bro. It was Klarna settings, man. It worked out. Are Edu and Garlic ever going to deliver a world-class window? We need one. We need one this summer. If it don't, then it's a mess. Nice kickabout with the bookies, Ivan Toney. Yeah, I'm telling you, he must. The one thing you've got to say, just quickly on that Ivan Toney thing, I was reading a thing, 70 grand a week with basic bonuses, right? £280,000 a month. What the hell are you putting bets on for, bro? Surely, buy some crypto, do something. Invest that money. Why the hell are you putting bets on? Is he just spending all his money? I don't get it. It don't make no sense to me. If I'm earning 280 grand a month, do you think I need to go on Sky Bet? I don't know what's going on, but hey, it's wild, isn't it? Betting is an addiction, to be fair. I actually shouldn't laugh at it. I know a lot of footballers who do bet. I know a lot of footballers who bet. So yeah, definitely not something to smirk at. It can be addictive. It's that time, people. Daily Dusan. Do. He's back, people. He's on the radar. Juventus knocked out of the Europa League semi-finals last night by Sevilla, who are just the kings of the Europa League. No matter how bad they're doing in La Liga, they'll always find a way of getting to the final of the Europa League. And he played yesterday. And again, he's being linked with a move. Apparently, he's receiving quite heavy criticism over there in Turin. They're not fully happy with him. He cost a lot of money. In theory, he was basically the long-term replacement of Cristiano Ronaldo at Juventus. And it just really hasn't happened for him. 10 goals this season, people, in the league for Vlahovic. £70 million. 10 goals this season. He has not been a hit. He got 3 goals in the Europa League in 8 games. It has not happened for him. And even at the World Cup, he only scored 1 goal. And he's being criticised quite heavily for his lack of goals at Juventus. And it's believed that Juventus would be willing to cash in on him this summer if they can get the majority of their money back. So again, let's go with the second poll of the day. Vlahovic, would you take him despite what happened last time? Would you take Vlahovic? at Arsenal. I think the thing with me is I still don't really know how good this guy truly is. I tell you one thing. Him rejecting us last time doesn't actually bother me. I'm going to be honest. I've seen Arsenal fans go, no, wouldn't go anywhere near him. He went to Juventus. That doesn't bother me that much. He said it was his dream club to go to Juventus. And I understand that. At the time, we weren't an attractive club to come to. You know, we had drama with Aubameyang. We missed out on top four. Was in the Europa League. Why would he want to come to us when Juventus apparently was his dream move? So I understand him going to Juventus. He wasn't disrespectful. My thing is he genuinely good enough? If he's good enough, I'm still open-minded to Arsenal signing him. I just want to question, how come this guy's only scored 10 goals at Juventus when Juventus are, I think, second in the league? But listen, at Fiorentina, he got 21 goals in 37 games. And then in the second half, or the first half of last season, he got 17 goals in 21 games. So he was absolutely cooking at Fiorentina. Is it just the style? Allegri's getting a lot of criticism this season for his style of football, stinking out the joint over there at Juventus, man. They're really lackluster at the moment. It seems very difficult to score goals in that Allegri system. So I don't know. For me, one thing I would say, if you're signing him, I think the price should be reduced. There's no way if they paid 70 million for him when he was absolutely balling at Fiorentina, we should be paying the same price when he's had a bang average season. He should be costing 50 million, really. You should be reducing that. So I'm a little on the fence with it. I genuinely haven't seen enough of him at Juventus, if I'm being honest. I would probably have to watch him a little bit more. But let me know. Throw a vote in there. Let me know. Cormac said, is Tierney a cert to Newcastle? Surely a mistake. From what I've seen and heard and little whispers, I think he wants to go there. Personally, I hope Kieran Tierney's at Arsenal at the start of next season, but if Newcastle come with proper money, I think we'll struggle to hang on to him. It's closer to Scotland. They'll be in the Champions League. He'll get at least the same wages, bigger signing on fee. I think we'll struggle to hang on to him. And I can't blame him, really. I can't blame him. If you can start at Newcastle and you're on the bench at Arsenal, you're probably going to go to Newcastle. They're going to be in the Champions League. And they'll move down Burn Central. So I think he'll be a Newcastle player. Kamal said, Curtis, the big issue is there's not a lot of strikers on the market that we would want. Totally agree. Totally agree. There is a major problem with strikers this summer. Major problem. And that's why we have to be smart with what we do this summer. Will Arsenal go for a striker? I'm not sure. Which is why I don't think we should be closing the door on Balogun. I think sometimes if you can't find a suitable alternative out there, because when you look at the strikers, okay, we could have got Ivan Toney, we could potentially get Vlahovic, but we're not sure. Lautaro, expensive, we're not sure if he'd be good in the Prem. Then you've got players below that like Ollie Watkins and Calvert-Lewin. Those kind of strikers don't excite me at all. Right, I think they're average Premier League strikers. I think sometimes you've got to be brave and say, okay, Balogun's gone to France, scored 20 goals. He's 21 years of age. He's going to be America's starting striker. Why not see if we can work with him? Eddie is not the answer, right? Jesus, if he gets injured, you've got no chance that Eddie can hold it down in the Champions League. You look at City, Haaland, Alvarez. You look at Liverpool. You know, Gakpo, Núñez, Jota. I know Firmino's going, but three strikers who are all, you know, of a good level. I know Núñez hasn't really kicked into gear yet. That's the level that you've got to compete with. You know, you've got to have two players, especially in those goal-getting positions. So why not go for Firmino? Says, I think the problem with Firmino, he wants guaranteed first-team football. Otherwise, he would have stayed at Liverpool. And I don't think that Arteta would put him ahead of Gabriel Jesus. He's in his 30s. So, listen, Firmino would probably work well at Arsenal in that false nine role, which is how we're playing. Even Newcastle. You look at Newcastle, man. They've got Isaac and Callum Wilson. Now, I know we wouldn't want Callum Wilson, but Callum Wilson's got like 17 league goals this year. He's got more goals than Jesus. Fraser said, look at Newcastle, how physical they are. That's what you need in the Prem. Klovin said, Zinchenko inverted against Kvaradono, Leao, Mbappe, Vinny. Listen, this is what I'm saying. For me, selling Toney would be a massive mistake because he's a better defender. But obviously, you use Zinny for certain games and Toney. And Ketia is League 2 level, said Reaction. I mean, well, yeah, I probably agree. This is why I keep talking about the huge drop-off in overall quality in football players over the last 15 years. There are only a few world-class strikers in the world. Most are in their 30s. I genuinely think one of the biggest killers of strikers in football was Didier Drogba. I say this a lot, and people always go, why? I was a striker at that age trying to find my way in the game. And you know, football, it's kind of a follow fashion society. And Mourinho came in, changed football in this country because everybody played 4-4-2. He came in, Drogba up front by himself. Makelele, Esse and Lampard, they dominated the midfield, three in the middle. And from there, everybody started playing 4-3-3, which meant one striker instead of two, which then kind of cut off the amount of strikers that started coming through. There was more midfielders. So I think that's why now you look at the striker market, it's awful. Let me address this because I don't like to hide from comments, even if they're a bit spiky. As long as it's not too disrespectful, we'll take it. So Thames again. Apologies if I butchered your name. Said, Big C, you are the biggest hypocrite. You said, get rid of Xhaka and other average players. Now you want Balogun. Lacazette is scoring more than him. Sell. All right, let's put that into context, right? Let me say two things. Number one, Xhaka's had 7 years at the club. He's had one good year. I think he's proved he's an average footballer. Balogun hasn't had an opportunity in the Premier League, so we don't know how good he is. Second of all, Lacazette scored more than Messi. So does that mean Lacazette's better than Messi? No, it doesn't, right? So that means nothing. So I think we have to put it into context. You've never seen Balogun in the Premier League, so how can you say he's an average Premier League player? So, you know, use your loaf before you start coming in with the shotgun, bro. I think you ran out of bullets there. You know what I mean? So relax yourself, bro. Yeah, and you spelt some of the names wrong. So as you said, you know, use that spell check. But we'll move, people. We'll move. You know, I don't mind. Send him to the gulag. No, listen, I don't mind. We can have the conversations. I don't mind, but at least make sure you're spelling words right if you come in with the shotgun. Fitz, big up, bro. He said, pain is part of football, says Arteta. All this man has given us is pain. Next season, no more excuses. It's the Premier League or Champions League. If not, then buy and take Eddie and Ketia 14, El Neni, Vieira, Xhaka, and hold him with you. There he is. Fitz in the building. Big up yourself, bro. Bro, imagine. No disrespect. And I'm not here to be, you know, the spelling police. Because I don't mind. Sometimes we dash things in there. We spell things wrong. But you've tried to be clever and come in and call me a hypocrite. And you've spelled it wrong. Like, if you're going to call me a hypocrite, you got to spell it right, bro. You called me a hippocrat. I mean, I don't know what that is, bro. Listen, hey, round of applause. Round of applause. He came in, he kicked the door down with a Super Soaker 500. Pressed the trigger and realised it was squirting out water and said, damn, you know, I messed up. He called me a hippocrat. I respect it. I haven't even timed him out. You know, I'll leave him there. I'll leave him there for now. You got to go on the naughty step for that, though. You can't kick the door off and come in with a Super Soaker 500. It don't work. Fan Reactions Football Club said, Vlahovic starts to look like a good option. He's the type of striker that brings another style and wouldn't cast shadow to Jesus. A good point. I suppose the other thing, he's gone to Juventus. He's starting. It's not working. Is he going to come to Arsenal with no guarantee of starting? That's the problem. So, yeah, it's whether he'd be willing to come here or not and potentially get benched at times. Bleck said, Edu should be questioned on these players. Yeah, but they'll never ask them questions, man. They're too rebellious for Arsenal. Young Gunner, big up yourself, bro. Said the old school number 9 is a dying breed. Look at Mbappe, arguably one of the best finishers around. He's not even a striker. We need a physical striker. Yeah, they're coming out of the game. They are coming out of the game. It's wingers up front. It's false nines up front. It's all that kind of stuff. It's totally different. It's totally different, man. The strikers are disappearing. Big up Wolves. FI said, Curtis chat, good vibes. Curtis, are you a Forest fan tomorrow? I meant game is much more meaningful for them. Yeah, listen, I want Forest to stay up. I want Arsenal to win every game they play in, right? So I want Forest to win tomorrow, but I'm not particular. Listen, if Arsenal win tomorrow, it might even annoy me because I'll be like, well, where was that? You want to play well now, everything's disappeared, So, but I want Forest to stay up, but I think they'll be all right anyway. Water gun settings, bro. I don't know what's going on. The hypocrites are out in full force. I'll see if he puts another comment in. What's going on? Yeah, Young Gunny, all right. Michael Ramsey, listen, I appreciate the super chat, bro. As you can understand, man can't be reading them things out, man. I have to look after the channel, you know what I'm saying? But, hey, it is what it is. Anyway, let's move on. Yeah, a sell, loan, keep. We're going to do that next week. Make sure you tune in for that. We're going to do that, the whole squad. So make sure you tune in to that one. Tomorrow is the start of pre-season. I don't mind Arteta making 6-7 changes tomorrow. Honestly, I don't. Give Reece Nelson a run out. Do something different. But anyway, LB said just sell them all. Sell all of them. Cooper said Mitrovic. 8-match ban, pushed over a referee. PR, no chance, mate. Arsenal, we're squeaky clean, mate. We ain't signing no one that's got any type of rebellious attitude to the football club. It won't happen. It won't happen, I'm afraid. You know how Arsenal operate. Just quickly, Aaron Ramsdale. Aaron Curried Goatsdale, who loves Jamaican food from his days at Sheffield United. He signed a new contract. As I said, the PR machine is in full effect at the moment. We're getting dogs in. We're getting new contracts. But he signed a new deal. I like Ramsdale. I got to admit, I like what he said. Even though it sounded a little bit scripted the way he was reading it out, but I like what he said. It was, you wasn't happy when I signed. I hope I've won your trust. So, no, big up. I respect him. Listen, as I said, I've still got 1 or 2 question marks over what he does in the Champions League next season if he's at that level. But he has done well in the Premier League, and there's no question about his commitment to the cause. And as I said, I felt like we went through a period in time where the players didn't care about the football club. So listen, big him up. He's come in, he's done well, made himself an England international. And listen, he signed a new contract. And part of the club's philosophy has to be tying down these players to longer term deals so that they can't be snatched by other clubs. So fair play to Ramsdale. I need to see Saliba. I need to see Saliba, people, because I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm concerned about that contract negotiation. I haven't heard anything. I don't have any whispers on it, but I think you can see the general things out there. If you even look at Saliba's contract situation, clearly PSG are lurking in the background, and you just wonder sometimes, a French player with PSG, with big money, with Mbappe, with Messi, is that going to tempt him? I don't know. I hope not. And hopefully we get it done. But, the fact it hasn't been done yet, it always worries me. Yeah, South London's finally said, I'm worried about him. Overall, 8 out of 10 for Ramsdale. Yeah, I think he's had a good season. We'll do a squad review after the last game of the season and give players ratings. Juice Source said, Mitrovic looks like that Toney from H3. I don't want him near my club. Listen, Arsenal won't sign Mitrovic, man. As soon as you get rebellious things like that, he ain't coming to the club. Labrador merch on the way. Omar said, Mitrovic is what Arsenal needs. A striker up top that will tear it apart. You got too many nice boys that don't scare anyone. I agree with a bit of that at the end, definitely. Mbappe will be gone from PSG by 2024. Probably be at Real Madrid. Ramsdale is a good keeper. Champions League, he worries me, says Jake. Yeah, you got to go up a level. I think he has to get a little bit better at commanding his area for crosses. He worries me when he comes for the ball. He's a good shot stopper and good with his feet. Cormac said, I don't think Ramsdale's as good as some pundits would have you believe. He gets too emotional. Question marks under his crosses. I suppose you've got to say he's still a young goalkeeper. It's 24. Goalkeepers play till their late 30s. He's never been at a club with the pressure and expectation of Arsenal. So he probably is still adjusting to it. So, yeah, let's see. Listen, big him up. He's got his new contract. He has played well for Arsenal. So, good luck to him. Hopefully onwards and upwards for him. Last transfer story of the day before we move on to the waffle settings, people. And Ornstein, they've wheeled out Ornstein again, of course. He's doing interviews. Listen, as I said, the PR team is in full effect. You can literally say what is going to happen at the end of the season when Arsenal's title challenge disappears. New contracts will be announced. New merchandise will be released. Ornstein and John Cross will do interviews saying how good we've done and how big we're going to go in the transfer market. War chest, right? And then Edu and Arteta will do interviews talking about how many things we've overcome this season. It's literally, you can predict it, and it's all happening. Ornstein's doing interviews left, right, and centre. John Cross has already said we're going to go big in the summer. Ramsdale's contract, then they'll do Saka's contract. The new kit comes out next Sunday. Next Sunday, we're going to play in our new home kit against Wolves. We'll sell loads of them. Shamelessly, yeah, I am buying that new kit because it's got no collar and it's got gold on it. They've got me. It will look good on the tour in the summer. I'm doing it for the purpose of the channel, people. I'm still Cronke out. Sorry. Maybe I'm being a bit of a hippocrat, as the guy called me earlier. But anyway, it's all there, people. It's all there. But anyway, David Ornstein, in an interview, he says about Arsenal, as the summer has approached, it does seem that Rice is the focus of their attention. That doesn't mean their admiration has diminished for Caicedo. Given their likely values, it would be a surprise to me, even with their amortization, they're testing me here, and staggering of payments, that they would be able to bring both in. Now, we spoke about this a lot yesterday. Yeah, it's a tax write-off, man, the kit. It's purely for the channel reasons. We spoke about this yesterday on the member stream. And everybody was saying, we need Rice and Caicedo. We need both. It ain't one or the other. Get both. And I said, I don't see us buying both. I think it's one and probably a Zubimendi or somebody like that. Release clause, 50 million, easy to negotiate. Spanish player, Arteta will probably have connections to him. I think it will be Declan Rice and somebody like Zubimendi or Mason Mount. I do not see us. If Rice is going to cost £90 million, Caicedo is going to cost 70 to 80. Arsenal, in my opinion, don't spend that kind of money on two midfielders when we still might need a centre-back, a right-back, a right winger, a left-back if Toney goes. You're talking 300 million. It'll be one of Rice and Caicedo, and then they'll get a Zubimendi or somebody like that, in my opinion. So it's disappointing. I think we missed our opportunity. What I find interesting is, I would love to know the reasons why he wants Rice ahead of Caicedo when he's more expensive and things like that. I think it's the attitude, the personality, the leadership. Arteta clearly loves those kind of things. Everybody talks about Declan Rice, how well he trains, the leadership. He's a captain in his early 20s. Hardly ever gets injured. Hardly ever gets suspended. They're the boxers that Mikel Arteta loves to tick. We're nearly at 62k people. I think we're a handful away. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. We're here nearly every day. Big up everyone following the TikTok as well, getting more stuff out on there. And obviously for the tour in the summer, there'll be loads of short content on there. The Curtis Shaw Clips channel will be back this summer, and we'll start putting out shorts as well on this channel. So big up everyone supporting. And E. Ross said, Curtis, Arsenal are the champions of something PR. We're Champions League winners, bro. When it comes to PR, we're the best. We just need to replicate that on the pitch. It's the English tax, bro. It's the English tax. Bab said Arsenal are not killers. We need to finish teams. If we were a boxer, we are a boxer that we throw that first punch. Bang! Land straight on the nose. The big, left jab on the nose. Now you've just got to throw that right hook. The guy's on the ropes. You've got to throw the right hook, the knockout punch, and you're champions, you know? But we don't, for some reason, we don't quite throw that right hook, you know? City jab, then the right hook, then the uppercut. They're throwing all sorts, you know what I mean? We're just not quite, that killer instinct is what we lack, you know? That killer instinct is what we need. And we need to add that. Mustafa said, would you take Bobby Firmino? I still think he's a top quality player, and I think it will be reflected in the level of club that signs him. He will go to a big football club. I think the problem is he wants guaranteed first team football, and I don't think we can offer him that with Jesus. You know, he's not going to buy Jesus and then just bin him the year after. I think Firmino is a fantastic player. For a year or two, I probably wouldn't have been against it, but I think we need a different kind of striker, a target man, somebody with a bit more physical presence. If this was the LA Rams, we'd get both and more, said Fitz. Listen, I hear you. They won the Super Bowl. They spent an absolute fortune over there to win that. But, you know, when it comes to Arsenal, the budget's a little bit more on a shoestring, you know. Listen, we've spent well, but not well enough. Nottingham Forest spent more money than us last summer. So people say, yeah, he's backed Arteta, but he's done what had to be done. He hasn't really gone beyond that. South London's fine. He said, I like Caicedo, but a couple of times he can get bullied by more physical midfielders. For example, against Newcastle with Bruno and Joel Linton. Could be a thing. You know, Declan Rice is, I think, about 6 foot. Caicedo's a lot smaller. Maybe he wants a more physical presence. Amo said, we are the cash cows for the Rams. Well, I spoke in a lot of detail the other day about my opinion of the Cronkies and my beliefs. You know, I'll be very surprised if we ever win the Champions League or the Premier League with them in charge. But we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, let's move on. If you're peckish, people, you won't be in the next 10 minutes. It is Waffle Central. Get the syrup ready. There's no smile on his face today. In fact, he looks shocked. That is the face of a man that's just seen his team lose 3-0 to Brighton. That's just seen his team draw with relegated Southampton and throw away a 2-0 lead against West Ham and Liverpool. Although he does say we can still win the Premier League title. Although, listen, mathematically we can. In reality, we can't. And let's hear what he had to say in the press conference. Listen, I saw a couple of the headlines from what he said. I didn't watch the press conference. I'd have probably been asleep. And if this waffle gets intense, people, you know the drill now. It's getting skipped. Simple as that. I don't want to bore you all. On Ramsdale's new contract, and if Saka and Odegaard will follow suit. Why did they not mention Saliba? Makes no sense. Saliba's got a year left. Odegaard's got 2 years left. We are delighted with the news for Aaron. He fully deserves that contract and extension. Obviously, we want to keep our talent at the club. There are a few more that are very relevant for us to continue with that relationship, and we are working on that. On the latest on Zinchenko and Martinelli, he said both players are out for the rest of the season. I mean, it's the worst kept secret ever. We knew for a long time that we knew Saliba wasn't going to play another game for the rest of the season. It was just obvious. I think he was trying to just keep the opposition manager guessing that every week he might return from injury. He's done for the season. Zinchenko's out as well. Toney plays in the last 2 games. I actually don't mind that. It might be a way of convincing him to stay at the football club. So those 2 are out for the season, or how long the recovery will take. Gabby's is nasty. We need to assess next week how long he'll be out for. It will be weeks at least. With Alex, it's a calf issue. He won't be available in the next few games. So Caicedo has wrote off Martinelli. On the reaction in the squad for the Brighton defeat, he said, obviously it's a very difficult one to swallow. Pause. Especially the way it happened in the last 25 minutes. At first, it was much more competitive. I don't want to read that. Let's skip it. On Steve Cooper's job at Forest and the club sticking with him, he said, brilliant, they made so many changes, we're not interested. On what he means to be nominated for Premier League Manager of the Season, fair play to him, fair play to him. Just quickly for me, Premier League Manager of the Season, Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe. Newcastle were in a relegation battle last season. You've got them 3rd in the Premier League. I think that's unbelievable. I really think that's unbelievable. They got the best defence in the Premier League this season. So I would go Eddie Howe, manager of the season, but I do think Arteta deserves great credit, getting us to second, didn't get us over the finish line. Pep, you can't just dismiss the fact the man wins the league every year and say he doesn't deserve a mention. I think De Zerbi's done very well at Brighton. Emery's come in and done a great job at Villa. I also think Silva at Fulham, newly promoted to get them 10th. They're going to finish above Chelsea, so they're probably the managers for me. I think if Cooper keeps Forest up, he's done a great job as well. But Eddie Howe, for me, I think that's unbelievable. Eddie Howe, his assistant, yeah, man, he's always in the picture as well, isn't he? All right, let's skip through the waffle. But big up Arteta, nominated for manager of the season. I don't think he'll win it, but on there being more positives than negatives this season and conveying that to the players, he said, I just tried to paint a picture. Picasso settings, people. We can look at the picture with a really narrow and thin vision. So we can do this of where we are today and what we've done. But we cannot lose sight of what's happened in certain moments where we weren't at our best, the level required to be champions. We have to acknowledge that as well. Obviously, the team, the players, everyone around the club deserves credit. Listen, at least he's acknowledging the fact that we weren't quite there in certain moments. The one thing that really irritates me with the fan base, right? And I say this all the time. We don't acknowledge what went wrong. We don't acknowledge what we could have done better. We just dress everything up, and that's something you have to be constructive of some of the failures whilst also congratulating them for the success. And that's something that the club have to do moving forward, Let's end that poll. Would you take Vlahovic? 63% of you say that you would take Vlahovic. 37% say no. So, yeah, interesting. More of you would take him. Ten Hag didn't make the cut. Listen, you can't hold sevens and make that. On if Arsenal have shown they will go into 23-24 as title contenders, he said, we've shown we are still there with 2 games to go. We can still be champions against probably the best team in the history of the Premier League for 10 months, and we are still there with 10 games to go. I think that'll be over by Sunday afternoon when Chelsea get battered by Man City. And if Man City need to win the treble to prove they are the best team in the history of the Premier League, he said, arguably they are competing in their competition, what they've done in the Champions League as well. It shows the level the team has the capacity to get 105 to 110 points. They haven't done it this season because of the league level. We've been there toe-to-toe for 10 months. We've been toe-to-toe with them, people. That's the new buzz phrase now. We went toe-to-toe with them. Young Gunner said, Curtis, if you were the one asking Mikel questions, you'd be banned for longer than Toney. You can bet on that. Arteta, Rodgers, Big C, let the clip off. Listen, if I get in a press conference ever, it could be the only one I ever get in. That is for sure. It won't be nice. Toe-to-toe FC. We went toe-to-toe with Man City. On if he hopes the squad will grow together, build our identity over a number of years. He said, we have built that core and foundation. There's a lot of quality, a lot of youth, a lot of enthusiasm as well, surrounded by good people. I'm skipping it. And whether we will use the pain of this season as motivation for the next. He says, I don't know what pain. It depends on what the pain is. Toothache, headache, title disappearing, that kind of ache. There are lots of moments to be extremely pleased with what we've done. Let's see where we finish in the next 2 games. Pain is part of football. When you don't win, when you don't perform at your level, it has to hurt. It has to hurt the right way. You have to use that pain to become better, find the right answers and solutions that can help you win more. This is what we're trying to do. Acknowledge the pain, man. Pain is love. I think that was Ja Rule, wasn't it? Album back in the day. Pain is love, people. Bottle ache. Bigger fish to fry. We're still searching for the fish. Inverted pain. That's the one. It's inverted pain. It's not real pain. It drops from left back, into the middle of midfield sometimes. It's inverted pain. Big up Fabricator for becoming a member. Really appreciate it. Big up to you. Public relations at best, man. Inverted pain, people. Inverted pain. On the importance, of good recruitment, he said, when you get closer to the top, the margins are smaller. What makes sure win or lose is minimal, and it changes. It's the penalty that goes in or out, and then the season changes in that moment. 3 or 4 injuries, yeah, let's skip it. On speculation about Xhaka, and the need for clarity. The clarity is he's a player that's played nearly every minute since I've been manager. He's incredibly respected. He has a great story around him, what he's achieved, what he's gone through, tough moments. He's a key and important part. Whatever happens is something we certainly won't discuss. I think he's leaving. I think we know he's leaving. And he would have said he'd be here next season. He won't. And whether the squad today could cope with both Premier League and Champions League, he said, today at that level that we want, no. We didn't have the capacity to do that with the Europa League. It's part of the evolution. We have made a lot of good steps, strong steps in the journey. We have to continue. That never ends. We have to be better. I'm not going to read all of this. He said, there are players we haven't had for the best of the season. It's our job to improve them because there are a few players who haven't had minutes on the performances. We have to seek for those players to give us a different edge. It's not only about signing players. It's about the resources. Listen, at least he's acknowledging we can't cope with the Champions League with this squad, trying to put pressure on the owners. On Saliba's future, we are trying. We're having conversations. We're still trying to maintain the talent we have. These things take time. Oh, it's not too long, this press conference, and increasing the level without losing the foundations. It's continuing to do 80% of the things we are doing. You know what, let's end it. 80%, 93%. We've heard it all before, people. We've heard it all before. Xhaka, listen, I think he's going. He would have said he'll be here next season. So it'll be like a going away party next week against Wolves. Granit Xhaka's leaving, people, as everyone goes out. Anyway, let's forget all that. That's all done and dusted. We play Nottingham Forest tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? We play them tomorrow. Jeez, I actually forgot we play them tomorrow. 5:30 kickoff. I'll be live about 45 minutes before that game. Yeah, listen, we need to win and see what happens. But yeah, it is what it is. As somebody said earlier in the show, I think this is the start of pre-season. To get players ready, I would rotate a little bit. We can't actually rotate that much because we don't have that much to rotate with. But leaving drinks for Xhaka. We're all going out after work next Sunday for Xhaka's leaving, people. But let's pick a team. Is there anything that you would do tomorrow? Would you make crazy changes? Like, would you play Turner in goal? And, you know, I don't know. How far would you go with it? I actually wouldn't make too many because I think if we make too many, we get beat. And don't get it twisted. We can lose tomorrow if we're not at it. If we turn up as we turned up last week against Brighton, we'll get beat. Because I'll tell you something, Forest at the City Ground are dangerous. They beat Liverpool there. They drew with Chelsea there. They drew with Man City there. One win will keep them up. Man said a final F off to the fans from Granit. One more F off to the fans before he goes to Leverkusen. That response means we need both Rice and Caicedo. We need them both, but Ornstein's already saying probably one. Dabuni said, Kroenke's Denver Nuggets doing well in the NBA. Very well. I wouldn't make wholesale changes, so I would still keep Ramsdale in goal. I wouldn't play Turner. Centre-back, you've got to probably go Kivy or Gabriel. We don't have an option, really, do we? No point playing Rob Holding. Tierney plays at left-back. Zinchenko's out injured. And then you play Ben White. You have to put Benjamin White at right back. So it'll be a tough game for Tierney, by the way. Brennan Johnson. I saw a stat that Brennan Johnson he recorded the fastest running speed in the Premier League this season. So he will give Tierney a test. Iwanye up front as well. Very physical player. He will have a scrap with Kivior and Gabriel. We're going to need Gabriel to mark him instead of Kivior because Kivior is not the strongest, I would say. Midfield, I'm going to be honest, I'd bring Thomas Partey back for this game. I think that I personally think the experiment expired last week. Jorginho and Xhaka got ragged, and they got dragged off the pitch, which told you everything. Arteta knew McAllister and them, man, were too much. Do you know what? I've seen a lot of articles saying that ESR's training in this Granit Xhaka role. Why not? Why not? Why not have a look? What have you got to lose? Could be a revelation there. And then Odegaard in the 10. I suppose you could play Fabio, but I wouldn't. I would try a Ting. That's where I'm at. Try a Ting. I'll play Partey. And do something different. Listen, there's no way in a million years he plays this team, by the way. No way in a million years. But the Jorginho and Xhaka midfield, he got ram ragged last week. So what's the point? Martinelli's out. I play Trossard. I play Gabriel Jesus. Because I wouldn't play Eddie up front. And honestly, I play Reece Nelson. I give Saka a break. Start him next week against Wolves. Last home game of the season. Go full strength at home. So that's what I would pick. There's no way in a million years this team plays, by the way. That's what I would pick. I think he will play... Well, he's going to play Saka because he never drops Saka. ESR won't play because I'm convinced. I think they've probably had a fallout. I think Xhaka will play. Will he bring Partey back in? He was definitely frustrated with that performance last week. Okay, I'll say he might play Partey. He might play Partey for Jorginho. He's definitely going to play Xhaka for his last 2 games. So that's maybe... I think he'll pick that team. I think Partey comes back in. I would start Nelson, as PG said, but he could be leaving. So will he start a player that's on his way out that he doesn't usually pick anyway? I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that one. Fabricator said, if Kroenke doesn't go all in, then I'll do it. Thank you for the great entertainment day after day. You make our life as Arsenal fans so much more bearable. Keep it up. Appreciate it, bro. Listen, I say information and entertainment. You know me, I got a bit of a sense of humour. Sometimes I joke about things, and I think sometimes, don't take it too serious. Football, it can overtake, your week and your weekend, which is why I always try and say, when Arsenal lose, don't let them ruin your weekend, because it can affect your weekend. So it'll be interesting. It will be interesting how we do in these last 2 games. It's going to be a hard game against Forest. Gunnarola said no, Partey needs to start pre-season fitness early. Yeah, he might have looked at Partey and just said, you're done for the season. We'll leave you on the bench. You're finished. Go and have a break. And we'll bring you back in pre-season. It'll be interesting whether he plays or not. Finally, let's look at the table. Sometimes he rips his shirt. Occasionally. I didn't rip it this year. I've got through a whole season without ripping it. So it's progress. It's progress. We must be improving somehow. No shirts were ripped during the recording. Arsenal second. 4 points behind. You just think, don't you? Beat Southampton, you go to 83 points. Beat West Ham, you go to 85. Beat Brighton, you go to 88. Beat Liverpool, we're 90 points with 2 games to go. Now, I know that's a high demand, but you're talking about 4 games. We could be 5 points clear. They've got a game in hand. We win our last 2 games. We're champions. It could have been very, very different. Forest, fighting for their lives down there at the bottom. I think they're second worst defence in the league. They have started to pick up form. They've won 2 of their last 5. 1 win would keep them up. Do you put that into context? They've won 2 of their last 5. We've won 2 of our last 5. So that tells you how bad our recent form has been. We've literally got the same form as Nottingham Forest in our last 5. You're not going to win a Premier League title. That is genuine relegation battle in form at the back end of the season. We have to learn how to deal with the pressure when it comes to crunch time, man. Arsenal can still win it. Man City lose the last 3 games. Imagine if Chelsea, for some crazy reason, just went there and just beat them and put some pressure on them. But it's not going to be enough, We can dream all we like. Chelsea v City prediction. Honestly, I think 3-4-0. I think they're going to absolutely batter them. Their confidence levels are sky high, man. I think they'll beat anybody you put in front of them right now. I think they'll beat... And I'm not doing a watch-along. I'm not even putting myself through that pain. But, hey, it is what it is. Aubameyang scoring a 97th minute winning pen. It would be beautiful. It would be beautiful. People, thank you very much for tuning in today. 2,000 of you in the chat. Great support as always. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, follow the TikTok, all of that good stuff. Tomorrow, 4:45, I'll be live for a 5:30 kickoff. Arsenal against Nottingham Forest. We'll do the watch along. I'll be chilling. I'm going to lean the chair back. It's a chill along tomorrow. I'll be relaxed. And we'll watch the game and see if we beat Forest and all of that. Press conference reaction. We'll review it on Sunday and see what happens. Thank you very much for tuning in. Enjoy your Friday, people. And I'll see you all tomorrow for the watch along. Bless.